Guys, football, it isn't just a mindset. It's about the X and O's. It's about the people who play the game. It's about how they lead by example. As minor football programs are starting to set up soon, it's time to talk about the integrity, the leadership, the attitude, and all the values that shape a strong team. It's about how players approach each practice, how they handle success and failure, how they build up an environment of trust and respect. And whether you're a player starting your journey or a coach guiding the way, these values will carry your team to new heights. Welcome back to the Hoggie Shuffle podcast. This is host Preston, co-host Robbie.
Yo.
We're talking football. So the first part I want to talk about, obviously, like every week, is Coach's Corner. Again, like I just said, attitude, leadership, integrity. So, attitude, that's number one. That's the foundation of team success. So you got to come in with a positive mindset. I talked about this a little bit last week about hanging your stuff at the door. No matter what's going on in your life, you hang that at the door. You come in with the best vibes you possibly can, and I promise you're going to have the best 2-hour practice of your life. But if you come in thinking about all the negatives in your life, it's going to be tough. And a positive attitude, it helps players overcome setbacks. They stay motivated. It fosters resilience, turning mistakes into learning experiences. And what I talk about is, overcoming, effort over outcome. And so what that means is, guys, if you're not going to make that tackle, and I had this happen to me last year or the year before that, coaching on the Broncos, and there was a situation where these guys, they weren't making all the tackles. We were dropping tackles in practice. And so I made a big point to say that I don't care if you make the tackle, but you better lay your ass out there and attempt to make that tackle, or you're doing push-ups. So and I'm telling you right now, our tackling got exponentially better. It was crazy. And like I said, they weren't making every tackle in practice, but they were going for every tackle. And that ability, knowing that there was that little bit of punishment at the end, that if they didn't at least try to give me that effort, because like I said, I'm that kind of coach. I don't care what happens, but you've got to give me the effort. And players, they need to focus on that effort rather than the result, because consistent hard work, even when a team's struggling, it just builds the long-term success.
Well, attitude is not something you can coach on the football field. Attitude has to come way before that. Attitude has to be a mindset that you have before you lace up your cleats, before you buckle up that chin strap. That has to be something that you have coming into practice and coming into a game. Positive attitude. Because I'll tell you one thing. You could want to be a next level guy and you could be the best football player out there. But guys aren't looking for that. They're looking for attitude. They're looking for great attitude, a great coachable guy.
Oh, man. And a good tip, guys, honestly, is especially coaches here, encourage your players to control their attitudes by focusing on what they can control. And I say that statement in work and life and coaching, is that you can't stress what you can't control in life. You can only stress what you can physically control. You can't control what the other team's going to do. You can't control the scoreboard. You can only control what you can do in your position. And there's 11 guys or 12 guys on the field. You can't control what those other guys are doing. But if you control what you're doing and you do what you're doing 100% every single time, and you give that effort, that energy, and that mindset in practice, sky's the limit. You're going to go so far.
But you know what? Here's one thing I learned from a great coach, is a good attitude is contagious. If you're a good team leader, which is our next point, and you have a great attitude, that becomes contagious on your team.
Oh, yeah.
And as I said, next up we got leadership. Leading by example, not just words. Leadership by example. And like I just said, leadership isn't just about being vocal. It's about showing up, working hard, inspiring others through actions. And that means just coming out, you see a guy make a mistake as a player, you know what? He gets chewed out by the coach. You pull him aside as a leader and you tell him, hey, guy, you know what? You got this. Next rep you're going to go in, you're going to be great. Leadership at all levels. Every player has an opportunity to lead. Leadership isn't just for captains. Leadership is for all guys on the team. You could be a grade 10 kid being a leader for the rest of those grade 10 kids out there, and you're doing the right things. Practical tip, coaches should challenge players to take ownership of their roles and lead by example, no matter what position on what team. It doesn't matter if you're a backup player. It doesn't matter if you're a third stringer. It doesn't matter if you're the water boy. You lead by example, and leadership always prevails.
Man, a couple of years ago, we had this quarterback on the Broncos, and I'll tell you what, the leadership that kid showed up and showed out was insane. It didn't matter that he was the starting quarterback. He was doing all the stuff. He was the kid at the end of the day cleaning up the locker room. He was picking up the bags. He was doing all the little things that showed everyone else what it's like to be a leader. And again, lead by example. You have to be that guy. You can't just expect kids to follow you into battle if you're not going to be there swinging the first punch. You have to make sure that you're showing these kids and showing these people out there that you're just as invested as they are. And that goes with anything in life. I'm talking work, football, anything. You have to be that proper leader, and you have to lead with example.
And I know you didn't say his name, but I know exactly who you're talking about. I got to coach him a little bit last year, and I seen him play his provincial final game, grade 9, and I tell you, you guys are getting your butt kicked. He was the smallest guy out there. He was the quarterback, and somehow he willed his team to come back and get in the game, drive after drive after drive after drive, and it was one of the most inspiring things I've ever seen come on a football field.
Oh man, I can confidently say, like, especially that one kid, man. I have never coached a more coachable kid, a kid that just wants to play football and wants to be the best, but not just playing football. He wants to be the best possible person. I mean, like, it's inspiring. It's amazing to see when people want to be that guy and they want to just show you what it's all about. And just it makes me so proud to know that I got to be a stepping stone in that kid's journey.
I'm excited to see where he goes this year.
Oh man, he's doesn't matter what he plays. It literally does not matter what position that kid plays. He could be the best player on your whole squad. He's still going to be that kid, picking up the other kids off the field, making sure other kids are doing right, and just being the best leader he can be.
100%.
And that's where it bridges actually the next part is the integrity. Building trust through consistency and fairness. Honesty and responsibility. Integrity means being honest about your performance, taking responsibility for mistakes, always doing the right things even when no one's watching. And that comes down to your off-field stuff, how you present yourself and how you are as a person. I mean, it makes such a difference, and it's going to make yourself understand that difference. If you can truly believe that you have that integrity and truly know that you have that in your heart, I'm telling you what, man, it's just, you see all these guys that are in the NFL, they win the Walter Payton Award, they're the man of the year, they're doing all these things off the field is because they have such good integrity from their fundamentals, from their parents to their coaches to just their overall life that they live. It's just inspiring. And you get your team trust and integrity. It creates trust within the team and the locker room. It ensures the players that can rely on both you on the field and off the field. Big thing for me that I was big in football was, I went to a different school. I was a public school kid. I transferred into Catholic school. I did not have a lot of friends at all. But it was this crazy thing that when I got there was no bullying for me. There was nothing like that because I had this group of 40 guys that would all just back you up and make you feel safe and have that camaraderie with you. And I'm telling you, it makes those kids feel all that warmth. And I challenge these guys that are in grade 12, grade 11 to take these young guys under their wing, show them the support and the love they deserve. Because I'm telling you right now, having that true integrity, man, it just makes such a better team. And you got to emphasize it. Like, a good tip here, guys, is, emphasize that integrity. It's not only about doing the right thing during the games in practice and school, but it's in everyday life. And that's what I was just talking about. You have to make sure you're doing that.
I was literally about to bring up that exact same point. It's just like, if you take integrity in everything you do in your life, buddy, you will succeed more in every position. Doesn't matter if it's life, marriage, being a father, being a good employee. If you have integrity in everything that you do in your life, and I learned that from Coach, that, integrity rules over absolutely anything in your life.
Oh, it has to, man.
You better hit this last one.
Yeah, oh yeah, and a really good application for minor football programs. This is what, again, Coach's Corner, it's really big about this because I want to talk about the coaches and the kids that are in these minor programs. Have a great start to the season. It comes down to two big things. It's your character development and your team building. So character development, minor football, like Bantam, high school, Pee Wee, it offers the perfect environment to install these values early and to make successful young men, good fathers, good husbands, good people in the community. That's always the goal. If you're coaching football genuinely to win games, get out of here. Right. No one wants you. I want to see coaches that yes, the scoreboard's important, and yes, you want to win, but your number one value needs to be to lift up these kids and make sure they understand the proper roles and how to be a good man. Because that's what it comes down to is you're trying to be that figure in their life. You're trying to be that person they need. And sometimes, like, I've had it in a position where, being the head coach now, where I got to pull kids aside and you can just tell by the look on their face, and you always can. What's going on? What's happening right now? You're not your usual self, and and that character development, you can really help. And a successful season, it really begins with building a strong team culture from day one. So if you have a bunch of kids running around, no one's paying attention, no one's doing stuff, and then you just decide, yeah, run hills, run laps, right, do this, do that, and you're gonna get their encouragement from punishment. I'm telling you, that's not the way to do it.
Well, that's like we always talk about, lead by example. So if you're leading by example, being this guy who's being a drill sergeant and he's doing all those things, now there's a time and a place for that. But I tell you, if you're the leader and you're leading with all these three things that we just talked about, and that's the guy that we had, as a mentor coach for me and as a coach for you, like, that's the guy that we had. And he based everything we did on the football field and off the football field on those three things. And if you put that into your life, you put that into your team, you put that into your marriage, you put that into being anything that you want to be successful at, you will succeed because you are taking total responsibility for everything that you do. All of your actions are accounted for. Everything that you're doing in life it's about those three things.
Oh yeah, and especially like starting the season off, use those early practices to set expectations for attitude, leadership, and integrity. Do team building activities that can help players understand these principles. I mean, like I know at the high school all the time we do these different team building activities where you really want to get the kids involved. Just sometimes out of football, where it's just something that we can all connect to as a group and do something fun and understand that we're all part of this big brotherhood and all part of this community. And even when you're playing against other teams, I always tell the kids, you never know who's going to be your teammate down the road. Whether you go to university, junior football, you're in bantam, going to high school, you don't know where you're going to go yet. You don't know if those guys are going to be your teammates down the road. So like there's been situations where I see kids in the handshake line doing stupid stuff and everything else, and chirping online or anything like that. It's just like there's no point of that. What are you doing?
I'll tell you a funny story. We went played Raymond last year. It was not a great game for us. It was a good team building for us because it really tested our integrity and it tested our mentally fortitude and like really showed the drive that our guys had on the field. But we were there for 3 days, and so on the second day we got up and everyone was eating breakfast, and I was like, "Hey guys, let's go for a little quick run. Let's go for a little jog." And all the old linemen came. A couple running backs came and a couple receivers came, and it was a really cool building foundation for us because it kind of solidified our group as an offensive line, and it was really cool. And then the next time we went, we were traveling for provincial quarterfinals or semifinals, excuse me. And the kids asked me, said, "Hey coach, are we going for a run? Like, are we going for a run before the game?" And I said, "Let's do it. Like, if you guys are that amped up and want to make sure that you're doing the things that you want to do to make sure you're ready in shape, not in shape, but you're making sure you're mentally ready for that game." Like for me, I knew right then and there that, our offensive line was ready to go because I seen the look in these guys' eyes and saying, "Hey, I know that we got a game in a couple hours, but let's get ready. Let's get ready now. Let's get ready this morning. Let's not get ready this afternoon."
And you ask yourself, you see the kids that didn't go to it, and those are the kids that, and I don't mean to ever say a kid doesn't have integrity or doesn't have anything like that, because they're all great kids. I mean, at the end of the day, they're kids. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to have slip-ups and things like that. But it just showed you which kids really wanted to be part of that squad and really wanted that brotherhood togetherness. They needed that together. And that's why those activities, like doing the jog, doing those things, it's so important to those kids. It's huge. Like, sometimes I'll do, what's the word I'm looking for? Sometimes I'll do relay races and things like that, and the kids got on me. They're just like, "Coach, you better show us how it's done. You better do one first, And I'm running around. I'm not the fastest guy out there, but I'll tell you what, going out there and doing those things and showing the kids that you're willing to do what you're asking them to do, man, it goes a long way.
Well, like you look at the name of our podcast and like it kind of gets tied back to this thing that we used to do when you were in high school, and it started a little bit before you went to high school. It's just like we would we didn't have a lot of coaches, so we would go down and we had this like drainage ditch where the offensive and defensive line got to go hang out, and there was just me, and there might have been another coach here and there, but it was usually just me and about 15, 20 kids. And so we'd get done doing what we were supposed to get done, and the rest of the team would be up the hill, and we'd start playing what we call Hoggie football. And I know you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's the funnest thing of all time. And it got to the point where no matter what we did, even this year, it was like, "Hey, when are we playing Hoggie football? When are we doing this?" Because
it's a treat for those kids. It's something that they can do together. That's such a good team building thing for the big guys, where they're not getting the touchdowns, they're not getting the runs, or anything like that. But to know that they get one experience together, where it's just the boys, it's just the Hoggies, it's just the guys down in the trenches, and they're having fun, they're making catches, they're doing the stuff. I mean, it brightens that up. And like even this last season, I had Broncos going on, so I had to miss it. Like the day I scheduled it to be on, I wasn't even there, but I made sure it happened. I made sure that still happened because there was no way that we were having that. I promised those boys there was no way we weren't doing Hoggie football.
100%.
And so, guys, the conclusion for this statement is remember this: every great team is built on the foundation of attitude, leadership, and integrity. And if you hit the field this season, you keep those principles at the forefront of your training. For players, lead with your actions. For coaches, guide your wisdom and consistency. The success of your team doesn't just come from wins. It comes from the building of strong relationships, reliable athletes who know how to handle adversity with honor. So let's get started. Bring that positive attitude. Lead by example. Play with integrity, because that's how champions are made.
Go get them, boys.
So rolling off of that, guys, we're going to go into our big guy spotlight. So this week, we're going to talk about a couple dudes that I think it was their first or second podcast. We talked about these young guys. They got drafted this year early, and they're making names. They're making names for themselves. The first guy I want to talk about, obviously, is going to be Josh Conerly Jr. He's an O-tackle from Oregon Ducks. He's 6'4", 315. And I know you already heard that come out of me, but he was first round, 29th overall pick. He went to Washington. he's likely to start at right tackle this year with potential to move to left tackle or guard as needed. I mean, he's versatile enough to fit in various blocking schemes, particularly zone-based systems, which is great. There's a lot of teams run zone man. Man's not really as common anymore. He's got a really high football IQ, adaptability. He's got room to develop further under NFL coaching. And I mean, you want to look at his training camp and preseason performance? He's been rotating first-team snaps with veteran Andrew Wiley at right tackle. This competition's ongoing with Conerly showing promise, but he's still adjusting to the NFL's speed and strength. It's a big jump going from college to NFL. I mean, that's why it's a very short list of people that actually make that. It's insane to know that you see a guy at that age, that young, and he's already getting in there, getting those first team reps, fighting for those spots, because it just shows you that, again, like we just talked about, his integrity, his football IQ, his attitude is right there, ready to go, and he's hitting the ground running. He's going.
All right, next up, my guy. And this guy, I tell you what, I didn't get to watch this game. I've seen a lot of highlights, and he showed up and showed out. I'm talking about Will Campbell. Played at LSU. He is now for the Patriots. 6'6", 325 pounds. Played 14 snaps last week versus the Commanders. Run blocking highlights, key pulls and blocks, springing a run for 7 yards, 13 yards, and 18 yards. Drove defenders 10 yards down the field on a touchdown drive. Pass protection, no pressures allowed. They had a little bit of miscommunication I'm going to talk about in a second. Earned a 85.4 PFF grade. Now, I know it's only spring, or it's only preseason, but I tell you, mistakes, and here's what I talk about. Miscommunication with rookie teammate. Stunt led to a strip sack of Drake May. So as I said, one guy pulled one guy away, one guy pulled the other way. They kind of bashed into each other. But you're going to make those mistakes as a guy in spring camp. And I'll tell you one thing, in this early football, that's the way to make those mistakes there and get them fixed. Overall, showed strong physical and athleticism in the run game. His rookie growing pains in pass pro and communication.
Alrighty. So, next thing we're going to roll into, guys, is obviously going to be the Wheel of Teams. So, something we do all the time, something we do every week.
We're going to switch it up next week.
All right, guys, we're rolling into the Wheel of Teams here. Like always, we're switching it up. We're doing fun stuff. This week, we're going back, though, again. We're hitting the Wheel of Teams. We're hitting Mashup Mayhem. Let's see what's going on. First up, we got Los Angeles Rams. Let's see who they're facing against.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
We got the Houston Texans.
Matt Stafford. Who knows about Matt Stafford? He's hurt right now. They're saying he might play this opening week when it comes, but if he doesn't play, then they got to go with Jimmy G. And again, you see what I'm wearing. Jimmy G can eat a big bag of something, because that guy was straight trash. He's been straight trash since he left the Patriots. He's never going to be good. He's absolutely garbage. And I like the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans got a young quarterback. They got a stable of running backs. And they got a great defense. I'm taking, with a non-healthy Matt Stafford, even maybe with a healthy Matt Stafford, I'm taking the Houston Texans 24-17 all day long.
See, and I'm gonna disagree. I still think the Rams are taking it. I think Matt's gonna do great. I think, again, like I said, he hasn't done great in the last couple of years. He's been on a little bit of a downpour, but he's getting up there. I mean, we're going into, I think it's got to be either year 15 or year 17 for Matt Stafford. I mean, he's getting up there, but the one thing he's still got is that deep ball. And I'll tell you what, as long as he's got Puka out there, I think you're going to see a great game out of him. And I still disagree. I think it's going to be 24-17 for the Rams.
Well, he does have other great receiver there coming from the Raiders. Coming from the Jets when he went to play with his old buddy Aaron Rodgers. But I also think he's going to be, he's also getting up there in age. He's going to bring in some balls. But again, I mean, they're in tough in that division. So I stick with what I'm saying. Stick to my guns.
We'll see.
Jimmy G.
All right.
Trash.
Got
Steelers.
Pittsburgh. Okay. They got the old boy too.
Oh boy, they're gonna fail. Oh, they're gonna fail.
Cardinals. Ooh, now this is honestly a solid matchup. I think Pittsburgh takes this one. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think that Aaron Rodgers, as much as he's not gonna be what he used to be, it's still Aaron Rodgers. I mean, at the end of the day, it's very similar to, and I know his Jets didn't go well, but it's very similar to when Peyton Manning went to the Broncos. I think that's the kind of season you're going to get out of this. I'm not saying Super Bowl season, but I'm saying where, he's going to do well. He's going to do good things out there. I think as long as he comes in with the right attitude and the right proper equipment underneath him, I mean, he's going to be great. As the offensive line's got to hold it strong for him, so we'll see. But they got a really good running back out there. They got a solid defense, obviously, with their linebacker being TJ Watt. I mean, he's still a dog. They got a lot of guys that are really going to make headways and push hard versus Cardinals. Obviously, quarterback still a little shaky. It depends what's going on. Depends if it's double XP weekend for him. It depends what's happening there. But again, they're going to do good too. They also have a solid defense. So you'll see what's happening there. But I'm going to say I'm probably giving it 31-21 Steelers.
So I'm gonna take the Steelers only on one thing and one thing only. The only thing that can hurt the Steelers in this game is containing the quarterback. And with the Steelers defense, there's no possible way that they don't contain the quarterback. And he might get around to getting a couple of scrambling yards, and he might even pick up a first down or a touchdown on it. But I wholeheartedly believe that no matter what they do with the Cardinals, that Steelers defense is going to beat them. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game because, again, I don't know how much Aaron Rodgers has left in the tank. I'm going to go 17-10 Steelers.
I don't know. I think he's still got that dog in him.
Well, he's got the deep pass, but that's all he's got.
We'll see. I like how we're on opposites right now. I like that.
I like it too. Notice that great banner in the background.
Ooh. So I know who's winning this matchup.
Oh!
Okay. So I know we're still on opposites, but I hope you're not in La La Land here.
Whoa.
Because you're talking about the Super Bowl champion team. I know they're not the same team they were last year, but I'll tell you what, they've got bigger, they've got better. We just drafted a new defensive lineman who's already coming in making, second team, first team reps. I mean, goddamn. I think that obviously we're probably getting at least two tush pushes. Saquon's running in for one, and we're probably hitting AJ Brown on the outside one, maybe even a pick six on the defense. I mean, it's gonna be one of those games where we got to watch a Raiders-Eagles game live, and it didn't go so well. It was back when Jalen Hurts was first taking over his first season as a starter, and it was weak. It was soft. It was not good. It was not what I wanted to see the Eagles do. And going back into this game, and this game's gonna happen this season. I believe it's December. Is it December or November? December.
No,
Either way,
end of November. I'm pretty sure it's
end of November. It's going to be a game, and I'm telling you right now, it's going to be one of those games where you turn the TV off at halftime because you know it's over. So I'm going 42-10.
Oh, that's gross, but again, I can't disagree with you on that. We're in rebuild process, and again, we've been in rebuild process pretty much since that season you talk about. I see some good things happening for us. I'm going to give us maybe 13 points, but I'm not going to stay away from that 42 points. It's as I said, it's not going to be. We're not the Raiders of the past. We're building on a great foundation that I'm hoping. Let's hope that the Raiders get to keep their coach this year and they don't just somehow bring John Gruden back. And I love John Gruden, but I want to coach for 5 years. I want to coach for 6 years. I want somebody coming in to make good things. But that being said, I know how great the Philadelphia Eagles are. And I know that the Raiders are up and coming, I hope. But again, like I say, it's probably going to be about a 42-13 game because, we're going to get a lot of field goals this game. We might even get 16 points. Who knows? But most of our points are coming from field goals.
You mark my words here. Chip Kelly is going to be the demise, okay? He is the worst coach ever.
Oh, he's going
to be absolutely terrible.
He's going to be
He's going to ruin your running back.
He's going to be a one and done. Maybe even a 6 month and done.
He's going to be terrible. You watch out for the brothers on the team because he's coming for him. He is the most racist coach there is. I remember he was on the Eagles and he's just like, oh yeah, Michael Vick gone, Deshaun Jackson gone, LaShawn McCoy gone, gone. Watch out because he sees color and that's the problem. Well, that's a big problem for me.
It's 2025, about to be 2026 coming up here. Ain't got no time for any of that nonsense.
None of that shit.
One people.
All right, last spin. Let's see what we get.
I might have to go to the bathroom and wipe my tears.
We got Titans. Right. Okay, young quarterback. We're going to see how Cam does. We'll see it.
I like Cam Ward. I like me some Cam Ward.
Oh. Yeah, so the Titans aren't winning this game. I'm telling you right now. I think that Lamar Jackson, as much as, when he was getting drafted and coming out of Louisville, everyone was saying this kid's running back, this kid's a receiver. He has proven time and time again he is one of the top 3 best quarterbacks in the NFL. And it doesn't matter what season he's playing in.
And the Patriots passed on him. Never forget that. Passed on him.
I think, 30 teams passed on him.
No, but the Patriots...
30 teams. There was a lot of teams that passed on him. That was absolutely crazy.
But the Patriots were the 31st pick, and they could have had him. They could have picked him.
To understand, and then Derrick Henry, he's on his comeback season this season. Like last season was great. He had one of the best seasons of his career. I think the most yards of his career, but he fell short. And I think this season you're going to see a different animal, same beast. It's going to be something out of a storybook. It's going to be crazy. Their defense, like it is just going to be monstrous. They got a couple monsters on their defensive line. Their offensive line's obviously blocking great because they gave Henry all the yards in the world last year. Like, don't get me wrong, he powers through those, but he doesn't get those 5-10 yard carries all and over and over and over again without the offensive line being absolutely disgusting. So, I'm going to give it up. I'm going to say Ravens are probably scoring 28 points, and I'm going to say the I'm going to say the Titans. I think Cam Ward's getting 2 on the board, so I'm going to say he's probably going to rush for 1, run and pass for 1. So I'm saying 17-28, Baltimore.
I'm going to say that my guy, Happy Gilmore, told Derrick Henry that if he puts up 2,000 yards this season, he's putting him in his next movie. And let's be honest, his last movie was absolutely amazing. Adam Sandler, He's the GOAT. You want to put a Tom Brady out there for comedians in the last 20 years. He's the guy. And if he's making that promise, he believes that Derrick Henry's going to do it. I believe that Derrick Henry's going to do it. I'm giving them 28-10. I think that their defense is absolutely going to pummel them. He's a rookie quarterback. He's going to be the starter all year. And let's be honest, they did the dumbest thing ever by getting rid of Mike Vrabel. Vrabel has 1 or 2 down seasons because, can't get a quarterback and can't get this and can't get that. Look what he did last week. You know what I mean? I don't see them making more than 10 points against the Baltimore Ravens, and it's going to be an ugly, ugly time when they're playing defense against the Ravens. So as I said, 28-10, maybe 13, 2 extra field goals. I don't know.
All right, guys, that's the Wheel of Teams. I thought that was a good one for sure.
Stupid Raiders Eagles.
All right. So now we're going to roll into the flag on the play. Rob's going to hit the first one here because I know he wants to talk about it. I got a little bit of I got my 2 cents to throw in too. Don't get me wrong, but I know he's been feeling really adamant about this and really I wouldn't say aggressive, but he's been feeling really it just rubbed him the wrong way. It's something that's something everyone's thinking.
Well, flag on the play this week for me is Shedeur Sanders. Now, everybody, and I'm not sure what happened, how the guy went from being a first-round pick to a fifth-round pick, but we all seen what happened last week. Did he come out hot? He came out okay. Did he finish hot? Oh, boy, did he finish hot. Browns had a 30-10 victory. Sanders completed 14 of 23 passes for 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 was in triple coverage with a guy in his face. We're all sitting there on the edge of our seat. What's going to happen? He's about to throw a pick, and he put the ball only where his guy could get it. He also rushed for 19 yards on 4 carries, so not too bad. He knew when he had to, and he wanted to throw the ball. He wanted to prove the critics wrong. Impact Sanders' performance has ignited discussion about his potential role as the team's quarterback in rotation. Head coach Kevin Stefanski praised Sanders' poise, accuracy, noting his ability to make plays both in rhythm and off schedule. With the Browns' next preseason game against the Philadelphia Eagles approaching, Sanders continues to develop a performance that could influence the team's decision on their starting quarterback for the regular season. Now, let's be honest. We all know who the starter is going to be going into week 1, and that's okay. You kind of want that guy to come in and say, hey, I'm going to start this out, and this guy's going to take over. It happened to your team. It happens to a lot of teams. But I'm telling you, my flag on the play is 15 yards to the entire NFL for saying this guy was not worth the hype, because I'm telling you right now, print it, post it, do whatever you want to. That guy is going to be the starting quarterback, and the Browns are so stupid that they're probably going to Baker Mayfield his ass and get rid of him.
Here's the reality, though, guys. It was preseason game. So I'm not going to say he's out there being the best quarterback of this or that. But I'll tell you, for that first week of preseason, for all those young quarterbacks that were trying to earn their spots and earn their position on the field, you can't tell me he didn't show it as one of the best quarterbacks. I mean, yeah, I know the Eagles guy, he did really good as well too. He was killing it. He had a lot of struggles, but a lot of good stuff too. But at the end of the day, it was something out of a storybook to see this kid that got so torn down and so pushed through the draft, to see him have that much success in his first time ever being around the NFL and playing that full speed. It's just awesome to see.
And I loved when he did this. Oh, it's Rolex time, baby.
So, my flag on the play. Now, we're going back to preseason games again. I thought this was a ridiculous thing to do, and this goes for most of the teams that did this, but, the Bengals started their starting offense and defense in a preseason game. And I know it was only for a few drives, but in what world are you taking a quarterback like Joe Burrow and putting him in the starting position in a preseason game? Look what happened to the Colts. I mean, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, I get it if you have guys that are trying to earn spots, or if you have starting guys that are both kind of in there in the race. Yeah, you're going to put them both in, but you're telling me you're going to put Joe Burrow in a preseason game? Has he not proven enough that he's the starter? He's not proven what he can
Right.
do. I mean, you get Coach Zach Taylor. He opted to have key starters in. Like, you had Jamar Chase playing, Joe Burrow playing. I mean, like, it was absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, he only did 9 for 10 passes, 123 yards, 2 TDs in the first quarter, and then he hopped out of the game. So it's great and all, but you were playing against backups because a certain team wasn't dumb enough to put all their starters out to start the preseason game off.
Well, I just look at it. You know what? Week 3, week 4, you want to put your starting guys out there. That's awesome. You want
100%.
to get some rotations going. What's going to happen in the next couple of weeks? All of those things. But week 1, like I seen Ocho Cinco and Shannon Sharp talking about it, and Shannon laughed right in Ocho's face. He's like, "Your guys played their starters for the first 20 minutes of the game," and it's just like, you not just one starter. The entire team was starting. And again, how are you getting an evaluation of the guys you need to cut and the guys you want to keep on your team if you're just letting your workhorses show up and show out just to try to make a point that the Philadelphia Eagles are the Philadelphia Eagles? Like,
And then you get the Eagles coming out with Tanner McKay. Like, he's nowhere near started already, but I'll tell you what.
Oh boy.
He threw for 250.
Oh boy.
Threw 2 TDs and ran a tush push in. So that goes back to showing how good the offensive line still is, even with the backups and people in, how good Coach Stoutland is to teach that kind of stuff, that the whole team knows how to do it properly. And you look at Taylor, the coach, his decision to play the starters, it reflects the shift in approach, aiming to try and build early season momentum, and he wants to avoid that slow start to the season. But I'll tell you what, when you avoid that slow start by possibly introducing injuries into your team in a preseason game, that means nothing. Like, I've seen how many teams out there in the past that have went 0 for 4 in preseason games and they go and win the Super Bowl.
Right.
Because it doesn't matter. It is the most useless thing possible. And so, sorry.
It's there to evaluate the guys you have coming in. Let's get some guys out there. And sure, maybe I want my starting quarterback to go out for this first maybe 2 series with my starting offensive line, get all my rookie wide receivers out there to see which guys he's going to throw the ball to, right? We'll get a couple series in with those guys, and then he's gone, right? Like, and that's the thing that bothers me too, is just like, okay, you're going to put your guys out there with this mediocre offensive line, and then look what happened to the Colts. Like, they didn't start all their guys, so they had, their quarterback's probably done for the first 3 weeks with a busted up hand because they didn't have all their starters out, but they let him go.
So, conclusion of this, guys, for me is the Bengals preseason opener, it served as a double-edged sword. Offensive success was tempered by defensive challenges. As the team prepares for the upcoming season, they got to balance that aggressive preparation with caution, and that will be the key to sustaining a successful season. So, straight up, flag on the play goes down to the coaching staff. Get your starters out of the preseason. That's a 15-yard play for neglect of player safety. That is just stupid.
All right, now we got the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I tell you, it's so nice to be able to have some fresh material and some fresh things to talk about with the good, the bad, and the ugly. It was getting a little dry there, but I tell you, we got some really good ones on deck. Giants rookie Jackson Dart flashes talent, and I thought he had a really decent outing, 12 for 9 for passing for 154 and a touchdown. He added 24 rushing yards in his preseason debut. His composure under pressure stood the test of time, capped with memorial post-game hug with his mom. And that, for me, I seen that. My buddy's a huge Giants fan, so I had to watch that one. And just seeing him rush to see his mom and say, "Mom, look how good I did." For me, that was electric. I love my mom, and she's real close. She's real close to me too. And now this next one, for me was huge. Ravens electric special teams. And for me, I didn't see anybody last year, and maybe they did, but I watched this game, and watching Mitchell run back in a 68-yard touchdown on the opening kick for them was absolutely wild. While Wester returned an 86-yard punt also for a score. Now this next one, I'm not sure if this one lands in the record books, but it should. A 70-yard field goal had the entire world talking. This guy can boot the ball 70 yards, and I tell you, you could have backed him up 10 yards. Jaguars kicker Cam Little's 70-yard field goal, making the longest field goal in any game in NFL history, preseason or not. Hats off to you, young man.
And his name's almost misleading because like he ain't little. I'll
Oh,
tell you
boy.
what, like he's got a leg on him. He's got a hammer, and to know you can do that, it just opens up your season so much more. I've been talking about things like that where does it make more sense to just if you're that team, why would you ever punt? If you kick a 70-yard field goal, why would you ever even line up in the punt formation?
Right.
You could boot the ball as far as you can, and worst case scenario, they can return it off the back end. But best case scenario, you get 3 points.
And minor football coaches, if you're watching this, scrap your punter, because if you got a field goal kicker, you just tell the referee, hey, this is how we're punting the ball. If we make the field goal, we make it. If not, it's a punt.
Yep.
All right, the bad. This one was kind of tough for me to watch. Scary injury moment in the Lions-Falcons game. Safety Morris Norris sustained a significant head injury. I watched this play live happen. He was broke down, perfect tackling for him. He juked over and he caught a thigh right in the side of the head, and he dropped like a sack of potatoes. And it sucked really bad because, all those fans that were there, they got cut short. The ambulance showed up and they immediately stopped the game. I know I seen today he was at the facility. He's doing good. He's probably going to be missing about a month, maybe a month and a half. And as I said all the time, it's a head injury. Take care of that head injury.
Always.
Don't rush to go back to the game because your brain is the most important thing in your body. Okay, next up we got Saints offensive line struggles, and oh boy, were they struggling. New Orleans managed just 13 points, 3 turnovers, including a pick 6, and finished with 61 rushing yards. Several key players were injured due to the contest. And I tell you, New Orleans Saints, they're going to be in deep this season. They're going to be in deep. They got a tough division. They're going to be in deep. We got the ugly. Panthers-Browns preseason ends in a brawl. And again, these next two, these really hurt me. An intense on-field fight between Panthers and Browns safety Rashad Jenkins escalated quickly, resulting in helmets being ripped off of both teams. Both players ejected the ball. Reportedly, steam tension carried over from a joint practice during controversy around players' discipline and coaching control. Now, guys, one thing I want to stress, and this is really going to hurt me on the next one, is there is kids watching this stuff, and you are leaders in your community. And I know passions happen, and I know stuff happens, but on the end of the day, you are mentors to so many young men. Everybody idolizes you, and they want to be you. And like this, I'm going to carry this on to my next one. Geno Smith, middle fingers in the Seahawks. During the Raiders preseason game in the Seattle, quarterback Geno Smith and defensive end Max Crosby made headlines for the wrong reasons as they both players were caught on camera giving the middle finger to fans of the Seahawks. Now, number one, without those fans, good or bad, you don't have a job. And I can't stress enough, you are impressionable to young men and women out there, and you get paid to do what you love to do, and you're being a piss poor example when you do stuff like that. And it hurts us fans to know that no matter what we do, and even if your goat's getting, it doesn't matter. You're a professional. You are a professional athlete in a paid sport. There's no room in the league for dumb crap like that. And I tell you, I was embarrassed to be a Raiders fan the other day because there is no room in that in my football.
So, next thing we're going to roll into, I've been doing this every week, is our Legends Talk. So, this, I had my nephew talking to me on the weekend, and he was asking, who's the best center of all time? Who's done all this stuff? And don't get me wrong, I love my boy Jason Kelsey. I think he's one of the most influential centers of all time. Well, there's another guy that I want to talk about that, he was a part of a Super Bowl champion team. He controlled an offensive line, and he was like a quarterback out there, and that's Mr. Jeff Saturday.
Oh, boy.
He played with one of the best ever to do it. Peyton Manning was his quarterback. He played on the Colts from 99 to 2011 and the Green Bay Packers for a year as well, too. He had 211 games played. He started 202 of those games.
Wow.
That is ridiculous. He had 11 fumble recoveries in his career, 6 Pro Bowl selections. He's a 2-time All-Pro in 2007 and 2005, and second team in 2006, 2009, and he's a Super Bowl champion. That's the highest honor of all, is knowing that you got that ring. You got that on your finger. In the Super Bowl, the Colts faced the Chicago Bears, and Jeff Saturday played a crucial role in the offensive line, providing protection for quarterback Manning. He was facilitating the running game with individual statistics for the offensive line like Saturday. They aren't really recorded out there. No one really knows, but I'll tell you, his impact was evident in a 29-17 victory, securing the first Super Bowl win for the Colts in 36 years. His performance was instrumental to their offensive success throughout the season and in the championship game. And you want to look at his notable moments? 06 championship game, he recovered a fumble in the end zone for a touchdown, and he made a crucial block on the game-winning touchdown, showcasing his awareness and leadership. And in the Super Bowl, obviously as a starting center, he anchored the offensive line, contributing to the Colts' balanced offense and attack. Like, his career is a testament to the dedication, the skill, and the leadership. And that's what we talked about at the beginning of this podcast, was the attitude, that the leadership, and the attitude, leadership, integrity. So what he can do, his career is a testament to the dedication. He's out there doing the skill stuff. He's got the attitude, he's got the leadership, and he's got the integrity. His contribution to the Colts, especially during the Super Bowl victory, has solidified his legacy as one of the best premier centers in NFL history. Just a dog.
I will say the best thing that I think that you could say about Jeff Saturday is how he changed the center position.
Now, he's the quarterback of the line.
Exactly. I'm not saying he was the first guy to start changing plays and stuff like that, but he was the first guy to be challenging quarterbacks like Peyton Manning and saying, hey, no, we're not running this play, call the play. And you've seen it a couple times on mic'd up sessions where him and Peyton are just going at each other because Jeff's changing the play and Peyton doesn't like it. Jeff wants to switch to run and Peyton wants to throw the ball. But that guy changed the outlook for centers across the league by letting them know, hey, guys, when you know something and you see something, you don't just have to pretend that the quarterback runs all the plays. If you are the guy, and let's be honest, the center sees everything.
Has to.
He's got the best view on the field. And so that, for me, in my eyes, he is top-notch. He's probably, again, I'll never say the greatest because I don't know, but he's definitely always going to be in that top 5 for me.
Has to be. Make sure you like and subscribe, guys. Follow us on all platforms. Keep up with every new episode of the Hoggie Shuffle. We're wrapping up today's episode. Remember, football, it's more than just a game. It's about the values we carry with us on the field and off the field. It's about the attitude, it's about the leadership, it's about the integrity. And I'm not just talking words to talk. I'm talking these are the cornerstones of every great team. So whether you're in a coach setting the tone, your player stepping into your role, you let these principles guide you. Build a foundation that's going to last long after the game is over. Until next time, keep working hard, keep pushing your limits, and always stay square.
Stay nasty.
Catch you next time.
See you guys.